नारायण गोस्वामिनिति नामिने। श्री कृष्ण लीला कथने सुदक्षं औदार्य माधुर्य गुणैशयुक्तं वरं वरेण्यं पुरुषं महान्तं श्रीनारायणं त्वं शिरसा नमामि। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्याय नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। भक्त्या विहीना अपराधलक्ष्ये क्षिप्ताश्च कामादितरङ्गमध्ये कृपामयि त्वं शरणं प्रपन्ना वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम्। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। एक बार सब साथ में बोलिए, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So first of all, I offer my unlimited obeisances unto the divine lotus feet of my spiritual master, Om Vishnupad Paramhansa Parivrajacharya Ashtotarashat Shri Srimad Shil Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And then I offer my Danvat Pranams to all the assembled devotees. So we are going to continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. Everyone knows Srimad Bhagavatam, right? So you know the difference between Bhagavat and Gita? Does everyone know what's the difference between Bhagavat and Gita? Ashish? So what's the difference between Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita? These two, is it the same book, different books? What's the difference? Yeah, who wants to answer? Yes, very good. Hanji. Gita and Bhagavad? Huh. So main thing is these are two separate books. They're separate granth. Jaisa Prabhuji said, so Bhagavad is actually a Puran. One of the 18 Purans is Srimad Bhagavatam, and Bhagavad Gita is part of Mahabharata. And in Mahabharata, where Krishna is speaking to Arjun in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So Srimad Bhagavatam is considered the conclusion of all the Puranas. So anything that we want to understand about Vedic scriptures, we only have to go to Srimad Bhagavatam to understand, because the conclusion of all the Vedic scriptures is Srimad Bhagavatam. We face so many problems in our day-to-day life. People are searching for happiness all around and trying so many different means to somehow become happy. But I can guarantee that if you simply follow the simple process of Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya, means every single day reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, then all the problems and all the stress and tension in our life will disappear. This is the potency of Srimad Bhagavatam. So as Subhasakha Prabhu said, we will continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. Many of you may have attended Bhagavad Saptaha, that where the Bhagavad Puran is narrated in 7 days. And even though speakers may do their best, it is such a vast Puran that it is very difficult to even summarize it in 7 days. So that's why many times, many of the details and so many beautiful pastimes that are described in Srimad Bhagavatam never get narrated because the time is so limited. So we are going to continue. Is there any echo in the sound, or there's some echo? Is it better now? Is it better? Okay. So it is, if we read Srimad Bhagavatam continuously, we will try to explain the main points of Srimad Bhagavatam. So now we are starting with the 13th chapter of the first canto. So this is the battle of Kurukshetra is over, and all the Kauravas have died, and now Maharaj Yudhishthir is now become the king of Hastinapur. So before the battle started, Vidur, he had actually left from Hastinapur because he could not see that so much injustice was going to be done to the Pandavas. He tried his best to explain to Dhritarashtra that this was not a right thing to do. But Dhritarashtra was so blinded by attachment to his own children that he could not see that what is right and what is wrong. So it is explained that even though, see, we are blind with these eyes, that is a problem. But biggest blindness, the greater blindness is the blindness of the soul, or the blindness of our ethics and morality. So if we do not see what is right and wrong, right? So even though we may have these two eyes, we are still blind. Unfortunately, most of us suffer from this, that because of the clutches of Maya, right? Because of our attachments to things that we think are ours, we are not able to make the right decision, what is right and wrong. So Dhritarashtra, even though in his heart he knew that kingdom belonged to Yudhishthir, because Pandu was supposed to be the king, and since he died, Dhritarashtra became the caretaker king. But still, he did not have the strength of his spiritual intelligence that he was able to make that decision and give the kingdom to Yudhishthir. So Vidur left. Now Vidur is a very special personality, and he is glorified in Srimad Bhagavatam and in all our scriptures. Vidur was actually a cousin of Pandu and Dhritarashtra. You might have heard this story that actually Satyavati had 2 sons, and Ambika and Ambalika, when they were married to them, they could not beget sons from those 2 princes. So that time Satyavati called one of his other first son, Vyasadev. And through the potency of Vyasadev, Dhritarashtra and Pandu appeared from Amba and Ambalika. There was a maid servant of Ambika, and then when she came into the room and she saw Vyasadev, she also paid obeisances. Vyasadev did not know that this was not one of the daughter-in-laws, and by his potency, this maid servant also had a child. Okay, so 3 children were born. The third one was Vidur, and he was born from the womb of a maid servant. So sometimes Duryodhan, one of the reasons Vidur left, because Duryodhan demeaned him. He said, "Tum to Shudrani ke bacche ho. You are the son of a maid servant. What will you teach to us?" Right? So this way he disrespected Vidur, And that time Vidur thought that when now, according to Kal, it is time for this Kaurav dynasty to be finished. So even though I try my best, it is better they will not understand, so it's better I go away. Now, who was this Vidur? Why was he so ethical and why he was so religious? Because actually, Vidur is an incarnation of Yamraj. Yamraj, I think that door is closed. They are trying to come in. So Yamraj, who is the god of death. So at one point, there was a king, and some thieves stole from the treasury of the king and they ran towards the forest. So the cops started chasing these thieves, and these thieves ended up going to the ashram of Manduk Rishi. There was a very great Rishi, his name was Manduk. So thieves went and hid there. The Rishi did not know that thieves are hiding in my ashram. So these cops came, they found the thieves, but they said, "Oh Rishi, you are also party to this theft." So they also imprisoned the Rishi. So they took the Rishi to the magistrate, and the magistrate, he gave a punishment that all of these people should be hanged, and this Rishi also should be killed with what? With a spear. Spear जानते ना, एक लंबा सा, not a trishul, but it has something very sharp in the front. So with a spear, this Rishi should also be killed. So they were about to carry out this punishment, and the king came to know that this is what my cops are doing. So the king came running. King knew who this Rishi was. So he came running and he said, "What are you doing? This is such a great Rishi. There's no way that he could have done this." So he freed the Rishi and he fell down at his feet and he said, "Please, O Maharaj, please forgive us. My cops did not know who you are." So Rishi was thinking, why did this happen to me? I have never done anything wrong in my life, right? I'm always doing bhakti. I'm always doing tapasya. So why has this happened to me? So he immediately went to Yamraj. See, these rishis were so powerful that even though he was on this earth, he had the strength, the mystic potency, he could go to Yamlok. He went to Yamlok and asked Yamraj, why has this happened to me? We always many times feel, right, that we are doing everything good, but why something is wrong happening to us? But we cannot go to Yamraj, right? But see, there is a reason behind everything. So Yamraj said, "Maharaj, you certainly have not done anything wrong recently. But when you were a little child, that time you took a straw and you pierced an ant with that straw. And because of that karma, now you had to go through this punishment. Now you would have been killed because you killed the ant. So it's tit for tat. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. But because of your bhakti, even though you came to the point that you would have been killed, but you were saved." समझ रहे हैं? So we suffer because of our past actions. No matter what, we will have to suffer. But abhi someone came this week and they were discussing, and they were very concerned about something going on in their life, and I was telling them the same thing, that it is said in Srimad Bhagavatam that we have to suffer because of our sins, because of our past karma. But if we do bhakti, if we do bhajan, then the intensity of that reaction is severely reduced. It becomes so little, just like instead of crossing an ocean, you are crossing a small puddle which is made with a hoof of a cow. If you have to cross an ocean, it is very difficult. However high you may jump, you are going to fall. Somewhere you are going to drown in the ocean. But if there's a small puddle, you can easily cross it. At the most, your feet may get dirty, but you can cross it. So this is actually the potency I have experienced. Many of us have experienced this in our life. This is actually true. This happens. that I've seen that where someone was going to have a major accident, but then it actually, something very little happened, a slide, they maybe just slipped from the stairs, or something little happened, maybe a little bone broke, but that major accident was averted. So anyways, this rishi, because he had hurt an ant when he was a child, as a result of that, he had to go through this thing. So Rishi said, that time I was a child, I was innocent, right? Why should I have to suffer for something that I did out of innocence when I was a child? So Yamraj, your laws are not good. I am going to curse you, that you will have to take birth in this material world for 100 years. So Yamraj said, as you may wish. So see, this is, Yamraj actually is a very great devotee. He is actually a very great devotee of Krishna, our Yamraj in this universe. So Yamraj said this must also be the mercy of the Lord. And why did he think like that? Because actually Yamraj was thinking all the time, what am I doing? I'm just giving justice to sending someone to the heaven, someone to the hell, someone to hell, and then I'm giving punishment. Someone has to be, be beaten, someone has to be thrown in burning oil, or someone has to take next birth as this or that. That I don't get any time to render any service to my Prabhu. So many other demigods and so many other people are doing so many different seva, but I don't get to do anything. So he was praying to Krishna that please give me some seva, that I can also go and preach your glories, right? तो मैं भी आपकी महिमा का गुणगान कर सकूं. So by the mercy of Krishna, this whole thing happened, as a result of which he came to this world in the form of Vidur. And Vidur, as you know, was actually a very great devotee. And in this chapter, we are going to study a little bit about what Vidur explained to Maharaj Dhritarashtra. So Vidur had left Hastinapur before the battle, and then what he did, he was going around different places doing tirth. He was going to different places of pilgrimage, and at one place he met Maitra Rishi. And Maitra Rishi, he asked about what is the truth of life, who is the Supreme, what is our relationship, what is the process to find him. So Maitra Rishi started explaining. And Maitra Rishi had only explained a little bit, and he was explaining to him about bhakti, and Vidur understood that this is the only process. And उसके बाद he said, मुझे इसके बाद सुनने की कोई आवश्यकता नहीं, there's nothing else to hear, because I have understood that only through bhakti one can achieve. So he paid his obeisances to Maitra Rishi, and then he started going on his further pilgrimage. Finally, he came to know that the battle has ended and all the Kauravas have died, and Dhritarashtra is staying still in Hastinapur, and Yudhishthir is taking very nice care of him. See how great these Pandavas were. Yudhishthir Maharaj, even though knowing that Dhritarashtra had schemed in so many different ways to kill him and his brothers and their mother Kunti and their wife Draupadi. He knew all of it. What all had he done? One famous, all of you know, that Dhritarashtra and Duryodhan, at the behest of Duryodhan, they got a very nice palace constructed in a place called Taranavrat. Very nice palace constructed. And this palace was made with lac. From the bark of the trees, you find this a little very thin thing called lac, the Lakshya Graha. So they had constructed this very beautiful palace, and their plan was that they will ask the Pandavas that we have made this nice palace for you, you go and reside there. and once they become comfortably situated, then they will burn it. So when they were leaving, Vidur told Yudhishthir indirectly that, "Oh my son, that sometimes an enemy may try to kill you without a weapon that is made with steel or some other material, and so there's so many ways for one to die." And then he also told him that even though fire may burn this body, but the fire cannot burn this soul. So like this, he was giving some clues to Yudhishthir. So Kunti was thinking, what is Vidur saying? I cannot understand. So she asked Yudhishthir, "Yudhishthir, what was Vidur saying to you?" So he said, "Maiya, there is going to be some calamity, there is going to be some problem, and he was trying to alert us to be careful. I think Kauravas are going to try to kill us by burning this house." So anyways, Krishna also alerted them, so they actually built a tunnel. So on the night of the 14th day, they were going to put that palace on fire. So before that, the Pandavas escaped. One time they tried to give them poison. So like this, so many things they tried to do to kill the Pandavas. Yudhishthira ko malum tha, he knew this. But still, he said, "No, Dhritarashtra is my elder, he is my Tauji, he is my Tayaji, he is my elder uncle. I have to respect him. I have to take care of him." And Yudhishthira was also staying there. So on one side, you can see how great was Yudhishthira. On other side, you can see how blinded was Dhritarashtra, that even after doing so many things, he was still not feeling ashamed. And he was not feeling ashamed that he was living on the food that was being provided by Yudhishthira. So when Vidur came to know all this, Vidur said, "This is not right." Not that he was not happy with what Yudhishthira was doing. He was very happy what Yudhishthira was doing. But he was very sad that Dhritarashtra, even at this age, he is still attached, and he's still someplace deep in his heart, he still thinks that maybe one day I will become the king. Maybe Yudhishthira will die or Pandavas will die and I will become the king. So this is the problem. So our Gurudev many times will give a nice example. He said one time there was a person was running. He was running. Why was he running? Because there was a lion chasing him. एक शेर उसके पीछे भाग रहा था. तो trying to escape from this lion, this person went into the jungle, and in the jungle there was a well, and he jumped into the well. When he was jumping into the well, he saw there were snakes below, very poisonous snakes. They were hissing like this, So before he could go inside, he saw there were 2 branches, so he held on to those branches. Because he could not go down, there were snakes, and on the top of the well, there was this big lion, and he was roaring, looking at him. So if he would come out, he will die. If he went inside, he will die. So then on top of this, what he saw, 2 rats. So he was holding on these 2 branches. Shri Radha Govind Dev Ji ki jai. And at that time, 2 rats came, and they started slowly chewing the branches. So at some point, now they started chewing the branches. Right there on those branches, there was one bee, madhumakhiyon ka chhatta tha. There was a bee house. And from that bee house, some honey was dripping. That honey dripped, 1 drop of honey, and this person just put his mouth in front. He took out his tongue, took a drop of honey, and said, "Wow, it is so sweet. It is so nice." So दोनों तरफ मौत खड़ी है ना? लेकिन फिर भी संसार को भोगने की इच्छा खत्म नहीं हुई. Right? So this is actually true, and this is also true for Dhritarashtra. So this lion is showing death, which is standing at our door. At every moment, the death is there, right? And these snakes, so many problems, so many different problems in our life as we are living. And these two branches that we are holding on to, right? Somehow we are holding these two rats day and night that taking away our life. With every day, with every night, our life is slowly going away, right? But what are we doing? We're trying to taste the honey. So here Vidur is telling Dhritarashtra, evam griheshu saktanam pramattanam tadiyaha ati akramat avigyatah kalam param dustaraha. He said that, O Dhritarashtra, evam griheshu saktanam pramattanam tadiyaha, that you have become so attached into your day-to-day life, into your family, that you have completely forgotten that this kal, this time, is agyat roop se akraman kar raha hai. It is there. Every single day, kal is approaching you. But you are not seeing that kal is coming towards you and it is going to take you away. Arthat, unka ayu kal sampurn ho raha hai. We do not see this. Right? So Vidur was thinking that my dear brother Dhritarashtra, he is totally blinded, and then somehow the other I have to save him. I have to save him. You know? So this is the quality of a bhakta. This is the quality of a Vaishnav. That just like our Guru Varg, they all traveled. Why do sadhus come? Why do they come? It is because to wake us up, right? To tell us that you are absorbed in something which is temporary. One or the other day it is going to die. One or the other day this thing is going to be taken away from us, whether we like it or we don't like it. You must have all heard of this lady Joanne Rivers. सुना आपने? कौन थी Joanne Rivers? ये तो जानते होंगे, हाँ? Who do? हाँ जी? Comedian. She was a very famous celebrity, actress, talk show host, right? And 81 years old, and if you saw her pictures, you could not believe she was 81 years old. किसी ने देखा Joanne Rivers की picture? आप लोग आज जाके देखना इंटरनेट पे. So she looked she kept herself up very well, right? So she was the icon of, anti-aging and all of this positiveness, everything, right? And she went for some kind of a plastic surgery or something to make her vocal cords even more better. So, like nowadays people try through plastic surgery, this thing, that thing, so many different ways to try and look younger, even though they're actually older, right? So, but what happened, that basic surgery, they were actually doing a little endoscopy, which normally no one dies with that, but because of that, she died. So the point is, some or the other reason will happen, and one day or the other, whether we are poor, rich, black, white, Hindu, Muslim, one day or the other, life is going to be taken away. So we have to see why this life, what this life is for, why we are in this world, and that is why Vidur is coming to explain all this to Dhritarashtra. So Vidurji came, when he came and everyone came to know in Hastinapur that Vidur has come, they all became very happy. Very happy. Because when a saintly person comes, because of his potency, because of his power, he makes everyone's heart very, very delighted. So when Vidurji came, everyone felt, because by this time, everyone's hearts were a little bit disturbed because there was so much bloodshed, so many people had died, and even though now Pandavas were ruling, but somewhere in their heart they were a bit disturbed that we had to go through so much bloodshed. So when you are very, very painful, when there is so much pain in the heart, if some elderly person comes, right, someone you have a lot of respect for, someone that you have a lot of love, when someone like that comes, you feel so much happiness. Because अब कोई आ गया जिससे हम अपने दिल का दर्द कह सकते हैं. You know, many times we are looking for a person with whom we can share the pain of our heart, right? So in the past we had so many people, but nowadays it's very fine to find someone with whom we can share the heart. So now they all felt, oh, Vidurji has come. Now we can all sit with him, listen to his katha, listen to his nice teachings, and that will heal all of us. So Yudhishthira Maharaj, he gave him a nice seat, and they washed his feet. See, he was a Shudra. By birth, he was a Shudra, right? So by birth, he was a Shudra, but what kind of respect they're giving to him? Just like as he was their Guru. So this is a very important part of our Sanatan Dharam, that we do not discriminate based on someone's caste, color, or birth. Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita that Chaturvarna Maya Srishtam Gun Karma Vibhagasha, that one is not a Brahman or a Shudra or Kshatriya by birth. One is like that by his gunas and by his karma, by his qualities and by his activities, right? That determines whether a person is a Brahman or a Shudra. And even if a person is in a lowly class, but if we can get some good teachings from that person, we should take it. Kiba vipra kiba nyasi shudra kene hoy, yei Krishna tattva veta sei guru hoy. A guru is someone from, does not matter what class he belongs to, what community he belongs to, how old is he could be a very young person. But if he understands the philosophy of life, if he understands Krishna tattva veta, if he understands the supreme absolute truth by essence, then that person is Guru. So, even though he is as a Shudra, born as a Shudra, but Yudhishthira, the Pandavas, considered him as the highest Mahatma. So they washed his feet, they offered him some prasad and asked him to take rest. And next day, when they all sat down, Yudhishthira Maharaj started glorifying him. And there's very one nice verse. Yudhishthira Maharaj says to him, first he asked him, Ki, O Chachaji, he actually refers to him Chachaji because Vidur was younger to Pandav, he was the youngest of three. So he said, Oh dear uncle, where have you been? Where did you all go? Which places did you visit? Whom all did you meet? Please explain to us. So Vidur actually, after that he would narrate them all the places he went to, except for one thing, because Vidur knew that by this time that Krishna along with the entire Yadu dynasty has left the world. But Vidur did not tell them this, because he knew that Pandavas were already so miserable because of all this battle, so he did not want to hurt them any further. He knew after some time they will come to know. So he narrated other things to them. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking about where all have you been? And then one thing he says, Bhavavidha Bhagavataha Tirtha Bhuta Swayam Vibho Tirthi Kurvanti Tirthani Swantah Sthen Gada Bhrita. He says that personalities like you, आप जैसे जो महानुभाव हैं, हे प्रभो, आप जैसे भागवत जन तो स्वयं ही तीर्थ स्वरूप होते हैं, क्योंकि वे अपने अंतःकरण में स्थित गदाधारी भगवान की पवित्रता के बल से पापियों के पाप द्वारा मलिन समस्त तीर्थों को पुनः पवित्र करा देते हैं. So very important thing Yudhishthira Maharaj is saying. He's saying, why is a holy place holy? You know, we go to holy places, हम तीर्थ जाते हैं, है ना, हरिद्वार, ऋषिकेश, वृंदावन, अयोध्या, बालाजी, तिरुपति. Why is a holy place considered holy? Who will answer? Shriram? What do you think? So because there are, anyone else, why? So he had a nice answer that because you meet people who help you connect to God, right? Hanji. right? So, see, holy places, of course, are holy because there is some great, either the Lord has appeared in there, like Vrindavan mein Bhagwan Krishna, Ayodhya Shri Ram appeared. So, they are all holy because the Lord appeared there. But there are main reasons for their being holy is because holy people live there. Saintly people live there and they do bhajan and they do katha. From there, we can go and understand what is the absolute truth. Ki Bhagwan kaun hai, Bhagavad Tattva kya hai, we can go and get teachings from them. So whenever we go to holy places, the main purpose, apart from taking darshan, is to listen to katha. And same thing is coming to the temple. So we come to the temple, and the temple is because the deities are here, right? We have Thakur ji, we have Radha Govind ji, we have Gaunitai, we have Sita Ram, Lakshman, Hanuman. That's why this place is called mandir or mat or a temple, because Thakur ji is here. So we come to the temple to take darshan of Thakur ji. But that's not the primary purpose. That is a good purpose why which we come to the temple. But the main purpose of coming to the temple should be to understand what is our dharma, what is Srimad Bhagavatam, what is Bhagavad Gita, what is Sanatan Dharam, what is Krishna wanting us to do, right? So we come and we pray to Krishna, that is very good. But how does Krishna want us to pray, right? Who is Krishna? How does he want us to live our life? How we will know that? We will know that if we listen to Katha. So listening to Hari Katha is very important coming to the temple. So he's saying that, oh Vidurji, oh my dear uncle, that people like personalities like you are Tirtha personified. You are like a walking Tirtha. You know, wherever you go, whether that place is a holy place or not a holy place, but simply because of your presence, that place becomes holy, right? So a tirth becomes tirtha because of the presence of those who are devotees. अगर तीर्थों में भगवान के भक्त नहीं होंगे, तो वहाँ पे तीर्थों का जो तीर्थत्व है वो खत्म हो जाएगा. If there are no holy people, if there are no saintly people in these holy places, then that holiness of those places will slowly go away, right? That's why sometimes we feel, so nowadays also when we go to some of our holy places, we see so much wrong things are happening, right? And it's all because the real holy people, the saintly people are not there. So we have a very nice bhajan, it says, Gangara parasha haite paschate pavan, darshane pavitra karo ei tomar gun. That when we go to Ganges, or we go to Jamuna, or we go to any of the holy rivers, so many times we may take a dip and then it helps purify us. But a person who is spiritual, by simply darshane pavitra karo, simply by their glance, simply by taking their darshan, we become purified. So this is the potency of a sadhu. So like this, they glorified Yudhishthir and everyone, they glorified Vidur. And then Vidur then sat down and they asked Vidur that please explain to us where have you been and which all great personalities have you met, and please explain all of that to us. So then Vidurji sat down, and his purpose of course was here to teach to Dhritarashtra. तो here he says, विदुर जी काल की गति को जानते थे, अतः आयु की समाप्ति के काल को उपस्थित हुआ जानकर वे अपने बड़े भाई धृतराष्ट्र से बोले. So Vidur knew that time for Dhritarashtra has come, right? And before he would die, he wanted Dhritarashtra to at least understand the basics. Before death comes, right? And it may come any time. Before it comes, we should at least understand something about the Lord. Otherwise, this whole human life is going to go waste. So he told Dhritarashtra, "Hey, oh my dear brother, see, now a very dangerous time is going to come. Therefore, before that time comes, you must leave this place as soon as possible. When that time comes, then there is no way to get rid of it. जब हम लोगों का अंत समय आता है ना, उस समय आप कुछ भी कर लें. At that time, anything that you might do, you cannot buy one fraction of second for your life. Whatever you might do, right? So there was a great, you might have all heard, a very famous dictator. I think this is about Lenin or Stalin, one of those two, who was a very famous dictator in Russia, right? And very, very powerful person, very powerful. And no one could dare say anything. I think it was about Stalin, if I'm not mistaken, the story about Stalin. And no one could dare say anything against him. That's how most of these dictators are. And like, I've heard about Hitler, the way his mustache was. And if you did not make the right comment about his mustache, he would, ask his people to kill that individual. So Stalin was also very powerful. And he was ruling with an iron fist. We know in Russia no one had any freedom. Our Prabhuji is from Russia, so I don't know if he had that experience. So there was very tough time. And so there was, after some time, Stalin, as he was becoming older, he had told everyone, because Russians at that time when communism was spreading, they told everyone that there is no God, right? There is no God. So they would go to churches, and when people will come out praying from the church, they will be standing with a truck filled with loaves of bread. And then they will ask, you went to the church, what did you pray? So we pray to God, oh God, give us our daily bread. That's one of the prayers that, in Christian, when they go to the church, they pray like this, oh God, give us our daily bread. So did your God give you bread? No. So here, we have a full truck full of bread. So take this bread. So who's God? That one inside the church or we? That we are giving you bread, right? So like this, those who are atheists, they have these kind of arguments. किसने भगवान को देखा है? Have you seen God? क्या बेवकूफ़ों की तरह मंदिर में जाके करते हो? Why do you go to the temple? Have you seen God? Why do you worship, a deity like this, which is made up of stone? क्या शक्ति है उसमें? Like this. So a lot of people like this, we will not go into explaining all the reasons, but there's solid arguments to refute these things. But, so like this, he had pushed people to become total atheists. And they would say, everyone, God is nowhere. God is nowhere. So, I've heard that Stalin, in his office or where he used to live, he also had this thing, God is nowhere. There is no God, right? I am God. I can do everything that I want. I am the dictator, of such a huge, vast country. So now, Stalin also was aging, and he became inflicted with some diseases. So what happened, that slowly, he was losing his strength. He was dying. And all the best physicians of Russia, the Soviet Union, were there trying to see how they can cure his disease. So Stalin is lying on his bed, and then he was asking all his generals and his, his family people, do you want me to die? Then everyone said, no, we don't want you to die. Maybe in their heart they were thinking he should die. But of course, at that time he was still the dictator. So they were saying, no, we don't want you to die. And he's asking everyone, no one is saying, they are all saying we want you to live. And he's saying, I also want to live. So then he was thinking that I don't want to die. None of them want me to die. And I have all the power in the world. I am the most powerful person in the world. But still, at this time, I am not able to control my own destiny. So that time in his heart, he prayed that, oh God, if you are there, please save me. And that time these words that was saying God is nowhere, those words appeared to him as God is now here, right? God is nowhere mein se bhi, if from where, W, you connect with no, what does that means? God is now here. So when people, those who say कि भगवान नहीं है, उसमें भी भगवान है. So actually God is everywhere. Actually that is, I'll have to move a little bit because that sun is coming in my eyes. So God is actually everywhere, but it is only our how, whether we have the potency, whether we have the eyes, whether we have the realization to see Him. It's not that sometimes we are in a problem, right? Someone comes and helps us, right? Why don't we see the mercy of God in that, right? Someone arranged for someone to come and help us in the time of need, right? Actually, nothing belongs to us. We did not create this body, right? We did not create this body. We did not create the food that we eat. We did not create the knowledge that we learn. So many things, everything that comes to us, we did not create anything. So somewhere they're all coming from. So God has to be there. God must be there. So he is saying, Vidur is saying that this time is coming. You are not able to see, right? You are just like that person who was in the well, fallen in the well. He is tasting this honey. The death is standing at your door front, but you are trying to not, you are just closing your eyes. Just like when there's a pigeon sitting, and when the cat comes, what does the pigeon do? He closes his eyes. कि मैं नहीं बिल्ली को देखूंगा तो बिल्ली मुझे नहीं खाएगी, right? If I close my eyes, the cat will not eat me, but cat will eat you whether you keep your eyes open or closed. So whatever we do, the time of death will come. So then Vidur says that in 1 second, it takes a fraction of a second. सर्वाधिक प्रिय प्राणों से भी क्षण भर में वियोग हो जाता है. इस काल के वशीभूत होने से अन्यान्य समस्त प्रकार की धन संपत्तियों की बात तो दूर रहे. That those who are beloved ones, our money, our bank accounts, our real estate, our stocks, our cars, everything, our own body, it takes a fraction of a second and everything is gone, right? In 1 second, that thing is taken away from us. So he's saying, oh Dhritarashtra, please wake up. Now you are an old person. How long you are going to keep desiring to keep making money, to keep your attachment to this kingdom? You have to give this attachment up, right? And this is actually for all of us, right? All of us should plan our lives in such a way that as we become older, right, we should slowly detach ourselves from our families, right? Even though you may stay in the family, no harm, but don't be attached. So you have taken care of your kids. Now don't become the babysitters of your grandkids, right? So it's good to be attached to you, to take care of them, to love them, but don't spend all your life now taking care of your grandchildren, because now you should take time to spend doing bhajan, to spend reading Gita, reading Srimad Bhagavatam, doing seva at the temple, understanding who you are, to understand these points. So I'll go on for a few more minutes, but if anyone has any question, we can actually take any question. किसी का कोई प्रश्न है किसी प्रकार का? कोई भी प्रश्न हो जो हम लोग डिस्कस कर रहे थे, किसी का प्रश्न है? नहीं. Okay, so we'll continue for a couple more minutes and then we will conclude. So Vidurji is saying that, O Vidur, O Dhritarashtra, आप तो जन्म से ही अंधे हैं, उस पर भी अब आप बाहरे और मंद बुद्धि हो गए हैं. He says, you were blind from your childhood, but on top of that, what has happened? Now you have also become deaf, and you have also become mand buddhi. you're not able to understand what is good for you. So all your teeth have broken, right? And your age is catching up. All your body limbs are becoming so weak. You are constantly coughing. But still, your attachment to your material things is not going away. So, and then he says, see how wonderful, how amazing is the desire of the living entities to live. Right? How balvati, प्राणियों में जीवित रहने की आशा कितनी बलवती है. So strong is the desire that even though all your sons have been killed, but still you are those people who killed your sons. You are so shameless that those who killed your sons, उन्हीं के रोटी के टुकड़े तुम खा रहे हो. So Vidur is saying very strong words to Dhritarashtra. Sometimes the Shastras, the scriptures say strong words. Why? Because unless they say strong words, we will not listen. Like someone, if there is a house on fire and someone is inside the house and he is sleeping and so sleeping, he's so much asleep, deep asleep, that he is not able to wake up. So you have to go and make a very loud sound to wake that person up, right? Utho, right? Because ghar mein to aag lagi hai. So similarly, sometimes our acharyas will say strong words to wake us up, right? And earlier we wake up, the better it's for us, right? Hanji Bhari ji? Right? Right. So the earlier we wake up, the better it is for us. So he's saying that please do not spend the few more years that you have left in your life just doing what you have been doing so far. आप जीवित रहने की इच्छा करते हैं, पर आपके चाहने से क्या होगा? Right? You want to live, you desire to live, no one wants to die, but how is that going to help? So see, this does not mean that we should, what is Vidurji trying to say, right? So he's not saying that always live under the fear of death. No, that is not the point, right? So the message is no, we always become, oh, death is going to come, death is going to come. No. Actually, as devotees, we have no fear of death, right? We should never fear death, right? The point he's trying to say is that all this time you have been doing negative things. All this time you have been doing things which are just pulling you down, right? Pulling you down. Actually, if you see all the material things that we do, in some form or the other, they actually pull us down. We may think we are growing, but actually they are pulling us down, right? So much strain on your body, so much strain on your energies, so much. Our bodies actually slowly age faster because of the stress and strain that we suffer trying to make a good living, right? So they're actually pulling us down. Doing bhakti, it actually energizes us. It gives us the strength. It's a very positive force in our life. When we come to the temple, what does it do? How does it help? It negates, it nullifies all the negativity that is in our life. Why do we meditate? Why do we chant? When we chant the holy names, it negates all the negativity that we have in our life. And as the negativity goes away, we become happier and happier. So this is what Vidur is trying to explain. Now we will continue this next time, that how Vidur then encourages Maharaj Dhritarashtra to leave and go to the forest, and actually Dhritarashtra then becomes very happy, right? Sometimes we don't know what is the cause of our unhappiness, right? Sometimes we don't know, like a monkey who is there is some chana in the box, and he goes inside to take the chana out. And then what happens? He apni muthi band kar li, he made a fist, and now he's not able to get his hand out, and he's crying and crying and crying, not knowing that he himself is the cause of his own misery, right? So many things that we suffer or miserable is because we don't understand that we only are causing that misery to ourselves. So by coming to the temple, by associating with the devotees, and by chanting the holy names, we are able to come out of this. So please come and join us at the temple every Sunday for submerging yourself in the sweetness of Srimad Bhagavatam. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Please again give big hand to Vishnu Prabhu. Very beautiful Hari Katha. We have this Hari Katha program starting at 6 o'clock every Sunday, 5 to 6.